And shine, everyone. Time now 6 o'clock here on your Wednesday morning. Thank you for joining us here on Sunrise. Jason Hackett and Alicia Lewis with you. Have plenty to talk about this morning, including the latest on that ICE raid in St. Paul. Audrey Russo is live on that. We're going to talk to her in just a minute. But first, got to talk about the weather because after whatever yesterday was, things are going to be much calmer
The
today.
roads were bad, too, even where it wasn't snowing. And Mace, we're going to have to deal with the slush in the South Metro today.
Yeah, thankfully we don't have to at all. Northern Minnesota has a few pockets of rain and snow showers, a little fog in west central Wisconsin. I'll show you all of that coming up, but it's a much quieter morning here, especially in the metro, where temperatures are right around 38, 39. It's a warm morning. Normally in November, we're down into the 20s. Not the case right now. A mild start to the day. A lot of 30s actually all across the state from northern through central and southern Minnesota. A little cooler in Menominee at 29 and even 15 in Hayward. And in Menominee, we've been watching some areas of fog. Visibility down to a quarter mile. A fog advisory there for west central Wisconsin for the next few hours. Clouds have been extending here across the state and into northern Minnesota. Some rain and snow showers, especially along Highway 2. Can't rule out again a rain or snow shower up north today. Otherwise, it's mild weather. It warms up into the low 40s. Unfortunately, not much sun.
Hey, good morning. Mace mentioned that fog in Menominee. Once you get a little closer to the cities in western Wisconsin, that's what you'll see in Hudson here, that the fog is not really in Hudson. Things are clear, so you don't have to put on those low beams as you head out the door, at least there. I take a look at the bigger map. You can check out your route here. Things are green. Saw a couple of hiccups this morning that didn't last for long. And like we mentioned a couple minutes ago, you won't see that slush or wet roads that we saw yesterday on I-35 as you head down toward Faribault, 169 as you head down toward Jordan, or Highway 52 in Farmington and south of that going into Rochester. So today should be a really good commute for you. No worries, at least it's at 6:02.
Just hours from now, a vigil is planned at this location in St. Paul, the same place a federal raid turned extremely tense and at times violent. This all happened less than 24 hours ago. That raid involved armed agents from ICE, the FBI, and the DEA who clashed with a large group of protesters.
Audrey Russo is back on the scene where new information is still coming in this morning, Audrey.
That's right. We're learning that the press conference and vigil that's going to get underway at 9 o'clock this morning is being held by the Immigration Defense Network right here in front of the Brotex facility where the raid happened. And you can see one of the last remnants of yesterday's chaos is still here, this police tape tied around this pole. Now, we've learned that the Immigration Defense Network this morning is going to be calling on elected leaders, immigration advocates, and legal experts to come together and demand clarity on exactly what happened here yesterday. Take a look at this video. This was captured during the thick of it. Now, when it comes to exactly what happened, there's still a lot of questions that need to be answered. When the mayor of St. Paul posted a statement yesterday, he seemed to imply that he didn't know the details of what was going on while the raid was happening. Now, I reached out to ICE's Midwest spokesperson to ask how many people were detained and whether or not any property was taken. The latest statement that we have from the agency is just that they were serving a search warrant for a federal criminal investigation, but they didn't specify that anyone was arrested. However, folks that we spoke to here tell us that they had family members who were taken into custody. Take a look.
He's even a criminal. He comes and works. He supports our family. And them taking him away from me is a big, just impacted our families. You don't know what they took away from us.
Now, we did speak to the former Anoka County Sheriff and President Trump's pick for Minnesota U.S. Marshal about some of the clash between federal agents and protesters and those who were here yesterday. Some of those clashes ended, for example, in a woman getting maced pretty much right in front of our camera. So we'll hear from him coming up in about 30 minutes. But for now, I'll send things back to you.
All the video from yesterday, incredibly hard to watch. Audrey Russo reporting live in St. Paul. Thank you.
Well, in other parts of the country, a massive ICE protest in North Carolina wrapping up a few hours ago. This is new video you're seeing here of hundreds of people marching through downtown Raleigh after immigration raids intensified in the region over the weekend. And ICE is expanding to other southern cities. Federal authorities say ICE is expected to arrive in New Orleans in about 10 days. Well, this morning we're waiting for more charges after more than a dozen men were busted in an alleged underage prostitution sting in Bloomington.
Yeah, the police there are calling the sting Operation Creep, and it comes just months after a similar operation ended with the arrest of former state lawmaker Justin Eichhorn. Michelle Beck is live from Bloomington City Hall with the unusual details, Michelle, of this bust.
Yeah, Alicia, unusual starts with Police Chief Booker Hodges of Bloomington singing in front of reporters at a press conference yesterday. His song of choice, Radiohead's Creep, as a nod to Operation Creep. Take a look at these 16 mug shots. At least 4 of those men have been formally charged so far. We've blurred out the rest. The 3-day sting was from earlier this month. It targeted people who wanted to have sex with whom they thought was a 17-year-old. From online platforms to in person, the suspects ended up meeting not a girl, but officers. Among those arrested, an ICE employee, a repeat offender, plus a man who the chief says showed up with coke, meth, and 8 different firearms.
And he has no idea that he's on drone footage. He shows up with this rifle here, and he shows up, of course, with the drugs. And look at these needles. He's coming to meet a 17-year-old girl, right? So we locked him up.
And this time around, no one was as high profile as former state lawmaker Justin Eichhorn. He was arrested in the last sting operation of this kind. Coming up in the next half hour, I'll detail the latest in his case. Back to you.
All right, Michelle Beck with the latest from that case there. Thank you very much. We appreciate it.
6:07 on your Wednesday, a live look from the White House early this morning where President Trump is expected to sign a bill forcing the Justice Department to release the Epstein files within 30 days. It was passed in the House yesterday afternoon with just one representative voting against it. Hours later, the Senate passed it unanimously. The turnaround comes after months of delays, and Republican infighting and pushback from the White House until just recently when the president changed his tune, saying that he supported the bill's passage and then would sign it.
This morning, a grandmother is charged with child endangerment after 2 toddlers were found unresponsive in her care. Charging documents say the 2-year-old twins tested positive for methadone, an opioid painkiller, while in Tracy Flex's care. Minneapolis police say they were called to the home on 4th Avenue twice on Sunday when each child was found unresponsive at separate times. They say they found evidence of drug use in Flex's purse, including a prescription bottle for methadone. Police say the first child's condition is grim. The second child is likely to survive.
Horrible story there. All right, this morning we do have a better idea of what the new multi-million-dollar plans are for Highway 61 in Hastings. At a packed meeting last night, the $30 to $40 million MnDOT project that stretches from 3rd Street to 36th Street was unveiled. Highway 61's project manager, Robert Jones, said that they're adding roundabouts, new sidewalks, and pedestrian ramps, and they're going to replace the Todd Field retaining wall. He said the majority of the road is going to be reconstructed with concrete, and it needed an upgrade.
It's needed because the substructure of the road right now is starting to fail and the roadway is starting to fail. It's met its lifetime, and a lot of the signal systems and intersections need to be upgraded.
The project is supposed to improve safety, traffic flow, and accessibility. They're still working on a final design, but preliminary construction is going to start in the fall of 2027.
Time now 6:08. The Timberwolves are back in action tonight hosting the Washington Wizards. But before getting back to Target Center, the team went a few blocks over to the Target store in downtown Minneapolis for some really important business. They surprised 15 local kids with a $1,000 shopping spree. All the stars were there, including Ant-Man, Julius Randle, Mike Conley, Rudy Gobert, and of course, Naz Reid, because you can't spell Christmas without Naz Reid. Don't bother fact-checking me on that, just trust me. Each player walked around with a kid and helped them spend their money as part of the Wolves' annual holiday shopping event.
You know, it's always a blessing to be able to see, you know, the smile on their face and how excited they are.
Able to see the impact that we can have on them, and you know, the smiles and the, you know, uplifting their spirits, especially during this time of year. It's really cool.
So as you can imagine, the players said electronics were the hot item, with many kids rushing to grab those gaming systems, those Switches and the PS5s. If you want to see the Wolves play tonight, by the way, tickets are still available on their website for as low as $15. Tip-off is at 7.
They're so tall. I mean, like, they're next to children.
Right.
But Rudy
Absolute-
Gobert, when we saw Rudy in person, he's a giant. I mean, they're NBA guys, but
And you did say a few words to him, which was fun.
I said, bon chance, Rudy. And then he looked at me with, like, don't try French.
Just please stop.
Stop, lady. Go on.
Really good to see the Timberwolves, though, give back in the community. That's always awesome.
Yes.